Howdy. Good morning to you. It is 7 o'clock on Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. Welcome to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. We will take your calls. I see you. Come on, wipe the sand from your eyes. I see you. The number is 888-658-0234, 888-658-0234. Patchy fog rain this morning, then clouds and showers later. Highs around 70. It'll be more humid, more hot as the week goes on. I know somebody will give you better details than that. Meteorologist Mike Favetta with a first check of the Garden State forecast. Buongiorno, Michele.
Hey, Ken. Very good morning to you. It is cloudy and humid. You feel the muggy air already in place. And I think that muggy weather, like you said, only gets worse as the week progresses, plus the sunshine and the heat to go along with it. Steam heat as we get to tomorrow afternoon. So there's a few light showers around that radar was picking up earlier this morning, most of them in central and northern New Jersey. Those are now sliding east. There's still some light drizzle around right now with temperatures holding in the low 60s statewide, but it's that air that is very humid. It's air you can wear with temperatures about the same where they were yesterday, and the dew point or the temperature where the air is saturated pretty much matching that of the temperature. So, yes, we've hit saturation. There is some fog around, and after that light shower this morning rolling across northern New Jersey, we stay cloudy for the rest of the day today. Visibility 0 right now down in Toms River. Same for you on LBI and Ship Bottom, 0 visibility as well in Atlantic City. Head back toward Morristown, right there along 287 and 24 along Route 80 is 1 mile visibility for you. So it's going to stay cloudy. It's going to stay gray today with another round of light breezes out of the east, keeping that rainfall around, at least the spotty drizzle. We have to wait till tomorrow afternoon for that wind to switch direction, pull in a warmer wind from the south, and really heat things up in southern New Jersey thanks to that wind pulling in some very warm air. Combination with some sunshine and then a southwesterly breeze for Thursday. It only gets hotter from this point forward. By the way, we haven't seen much in the way of rainfall totals. I mean, any rain in addition to what's fallen already this month is like the cherry on top, since we're already overflowing our buckets. More than half an inch in Flemington and almost a quarter of an inch from Long Branch toward Newark and Morristown. So good soaking, not worried about any more drought. As far as the rain future cast, we have temperatures that hold in the 60s today. We'll see another round of steady rain come in tonight, probably after the evening rush. And then as we head into tomorrow morning by 7, 8 a.m., look at how temperatures jump just by noon into the 90s there in central and southern New Jersey. 91 degrees in Trenton by noon with full-on sunshine blasting through central New Jersey. 95 by 2 o'clock. And that doesn't account for the humidity. The feels like temperature, which we'll show you coming up, is going to feel much hotter. That's actually going to allow for a few pop-up thunderstorms to occur. So you see these shades of red and orange here, even some purple down by Medford. Some of those storms could contain some gusty winds, even some heavy downpours. That all moves through tomorrow evening, especially through southern New Jersey. You see crossing the parkway there just in time for the evening rush around 5 or 6 o'clock, and then that moves east. It is warm, it is sticky, it is humid tomorrow night as temperatures don't even cool off into the 60s. We stay in the 70s into Thursday morning, and then by noon on Thursday, this is summer. Look at that, 96 in Trenton, 96 over toward other places in the state around there, and even 97 by Hackensack by 4 o'clock in the afternoon. So blazing sun, high heat, high humidity. Thursday's really going to be warm. Even the broader futurecast projecting 99 by Thursday afternoon at 4 o'clock in Trenton. So it stays warm throughout Friday with another round of muggy weather and mostly sunny skies. I think we start the weekend hot, hazy, and humid and keep it that way at least through Saturday and Sunday. It's going to be a warm finish to the weekend, a very warm start to summer. Summer arrives at 10:42 Thursday night. First full day of summer on Friday, 86 and sunny. It's going to be a warm one, Ken.
Oh, that's really nice. And Pam loved your flowers, by the way. Director Pam said, "Did you see his flowers? Did you see?" It's a wonder. I'm not trying to stereotype, but I love how like la femmina sempre they see the flowers first. And look at the flowers. Look at the flowers. I'm like, hey, where's your truck? I don't know. It's just me. They were nice
What can I
flowers, I
say?
must tell you. You have good taste. He has class.
Yes.
He has class, that Mike. All right, sir. Thank you very much. And checking some of the trucks, as I mentioned, we have a crash on the Jersey Turnpike Eastern Spur northbound exit ramp interchange 15E by 1 and 9 in Newark with the right lane blocked. Take a look at this. This is traffic. This is the Garden State Parkway. This is a mile marker. Oh, my monitor is now messing up on my end here. Okay, mile marker 147.0, exit 145, Sussex Avenue overpass. This would be in the area of East Orange. You can see the cars going to the left, go to Newark Airport, and you can see the roadways are damp. So extra travel time needed. There's a lot of volume building up there. We also have an unanticipated construction delay. I love when they call it that. In other words, something happened. So they call it an unanticipated construction delay. This is on Route 18 northbound by Main Street, Tice's Lane in East Brunswick. 2 right lanes of the 3 lanes are closed. Crash on 78 westbound east of exit 45, Glenside Avenue, Springfield Township, with the left lane of the 3 lanes closed. And we have down pole on Route 31, both directions. Ewingville Road, Upper Ferry Road in Ewing Township, all lanes are closed there. Approaches to the Manhattan side of things. Let's take a look at the upper and lower level. Wow, that's ugly. That is the 8095 approach to the GWB. Upper level on the right. What you see on the left is lower level. We're being told it's 45 to 50 minutes now. I bet you it's longer than that. That's really dense for this hour. And a lot of that is not just volume, but it's also weather related. You just have that this morning. So give yourselves extra travel time. We already have 30 minutes at the Lincoln and 25 at the Holland. 7:06 is our time. Former U.S. Senator Bob Menendez is set to begin an 11-year prison sentence today for bribery and corruption, unless President Trump grants a last-second pardon. And with what President Trump's doing, it doesn't look like he has any time for that. The U.S. Court of Appeals denied Menendez's bid to stay free pending appeal. He will report to FCI Schuylkill. That's a medium security prison in Pennsylvania. Menendez can receive letters, books, and limited emails with 300 minutes of monthly phone calls. That's, do the math there. That is 10 minutes a day. He's allowed 4 visits a month. That's a visit a week. He's seeking commissary funds for personal items costing about $1,200 a month. In fact, so he's asking people to send in money for him. This is the guy that shoved big blocks of gold worth tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands, into his clothing pockets. Menendez is the first ex-senator in prison since 1982. You know who that person was in 1982? Another former United States senator from the Garden State. So New Jersey, so proud to have not one but 2 ex-senators imprisoned. You know what? Don't be tempted when you go to your big office as a senator to take bribes. It's just stupid. What you do is you do your 6, 12 years, whatever, as senator, come out, some big law firm will hire you, pay you stupid money because of your name. But do not take cars and trips and gold. It's just stupid. And this is what happens. Is it worth it? I'm sure. I'm sure right now the senator is reevaluating his choices. So just saying. New Jersey lawmakers, they are now tackling sinkhole dangers with a proposed bill requiring structural assessments for infrastructure projects anytime there is an underground mine there. We're talking, of course, about what happened on I-80. The problem is a lot of people didn't realize there were underground mines there. So this is the repaired, how pretty that looks with traffic moving on it. That's I-80 East and West live picture through Wharton. This was discussed Monday by the State Assembly Transportation Committee. The measure aims at preventing collapses like those that closed parts of I-80 in Wharton for 6 months, causing massive traffic disruptions. The westbound lanes reopened this past Saturday. Eastbound lanes, all of them, set to be opened in literally in the next week and a half. June 25th is the deadline they set. The bill, sponsored by Assemblyman Clinton Calabrese, mandates mine proximity checks and post-construction monitoring, including radar scans to ensure safety. Again, the problem is, I think a lot of the contractors didn't realize that mines were there when they built I-80, but now we're going to know better. So if we're building major roadways, we're going to have to check for this. With nearly 600 abandoned mines throughout the state of New Jersey, lawmakers also face outdated mine maps. That's one of the problems they had here. and that complicates prevention efforts. 709, New Jersey and the Jersey Shore facing major traffic disruptions as the 93-year-old Route 71 drawbridge connecting Belmar and Avon by the Sea is closed indefinitely due to a mechanical failure. The South Bridge Leaf, stuck open for marine traffic, mirrors last year's 2-month closure. The problem is those gears are simply old and rusty. It's 93. A lot of people don't live to 93. It served us well. It's time to be replaced. The Democratic administration, instead of being so busy spending $2 billion on illegal migrants and freebie giveaways to get reelected, maybe you could spend money on our infrastructure. Hint, hint, as we're one of the most highly taxed states in the country. Let me remind you again, Florida, no state income tax, higher population, all the services we have, better education. How do they do it? Try no graft and no corruption, elected officials. The NJDOT is assessing repairs, but no timeline is set, impacting local businesses as summer crowds arrive. A bridge replacement planned for 2028. That'll really work. So all the people spending that money in the Jersey Shore, let's go down the shore. That's how much your Democrat elected representatives give a damn about you. They don't give a crap about you. So keep voting Democrat. Oh, I know Harry. He's a nice guy. I'll vote for him. Stop being an idiot. Stop voting Democrat. This is the crap you got to deal with as a result. You want to keep dealing with it? You deal with it. 7-Eleven, an update to a story we first brought you yesterday. A tragic shooting on a Long Branch beach claimed the life of 18-year-old Christopher White. 18 years old. Popular TikTok creator with over 96,000 followers, known for doing these incredible backflips and dance videos. The 2024 Woodbridge High School grad was killed by one gunshot near Pier Village Thursday night. Some of the video online is so horrible. I mean, there was just a nasty, vicious fight before, and then literally he's down on the ground and they just shoot him point blank. No motive or suspects have been identified, although if you look at the videos online, it shouldn't be too hard. Now there's a GoFundMe that was created to help pay for funeral costs for White. You could find it online if you look for it. Just be careful you have the right one. Check with family or check with friends, check with the school. Don't just spend money. There are a lot of phonies that set up fake accounts, so just be careful. So he was a beloved football and wrestling team member. May he rest in peace. Nobody should go out like that. Good-looking young man like that with a whole future ahead and destroyed by an idiot with a gun. A New Jersey man, Isaiah Knight, 31, of East Orange, was sentenced to 125 years in prison for the 2021 murder of 23-year-old Tyzir White in Newark. Knight, don't want to confuse the names there, Knight shot White 5 times after a dispute and was also convicted of witness tampering involving his sister, cousin, girlfriend, and another man, all now facing charges. The Superior Court sentence includes 75 years for murder, 10 for tampering, and 40 for a prior assault conviction. The Supreme Court will hear an appeal from First Choice Women's Resource Centers, a faith-based pregnancy center in New Jersey, challenging a state investigation. The center claims a 2023 subpoena from Attorney General Matthew Platkin seeking donor and advertising details violates its First Amendment rights. The probe alleges the group misled people about offering abortion referrals. Lower courts declined to intervene, and the state insists the case lacks broader significance. So think about this. Think about this. If it's an abortion clinic like Planned Parenthood, and that's all they do, is offer, they don't offer women's medical care services. That's crap. They don't. You can go to your OBGYN for that. All they do is abortions. They make billions a year on being a baby mill, pulling out living babies from women's wombs. That's what Planned Parenthood does. Along comes an organization that will do abortions, but they'll also offer alternatives. And the super leftist socialist liberals whose sacrament, because they have given up their faith, their sacrament is abortion, satanic. Their sacrament is abortion. You can't question anything about abortion with these people. They're sick, twisted people. Their sacrament is abortion. That is satanic. Look it up. You don't believe me? And you want to keep going down that path? There will come a time when we will pee on your soul from heaven. How dare you go after an organization that not only does offer abortion, but offers women alternatives and try to make it look like they're doing something wrong. Shame on you. And I hope the Supreme Court scolds you for it, or worse. Lower courts declined to intervene, as I mentioned. The state insists the case lacks broader significance. Of course, they say it lacks broader significance, but it does have broader significance. 714 South River High School seniors involved in a vandalism prank must pay a $150 fine and complete 5 hours of community service to attend Thursday's commencement. The prank, which involved toilet paper and rearranged furniture, led to canceled classes. According to NJ.com, participants signing a contract by Monday will avoid criminal charges, but they will miss senior events and they will receive, my teleprompter's coughing up on me. They will receive a scolding, basically. So, bottom line is, don't toilet paper your school before your graduation. Mayor Gundi, by the way, says no items were damaged. So this is basically a bunch of kids toilet papering up the place, and they're getting in a lot of trouble. Am I being a wise guy? Yeah. It was toilet paper. People lighten up. Toilet paper. 7:15, firefighters battled the mines-spun wildfire in Wharton State Forest, Burlington County, which has scorched over 5,700 acres since Friday. As of Sunday, the blaze is 80% contained, thank goodness, despite a quarter-inch of rain offering little relief. 5 structures remain threatened, and several roads, including Tuckerton and Carranza, are closed. The fire was first spotted by a private aircraft. It continues to smolder with light winds and spotty showers expected to help this week. Remember, we're expecting some showers this morning, rain this morning, some showers this afternoon. That should help too. 7:16, the New Jersey Supreme Court unanimously ruled Monday to allow a grand jury investigation into clergy sex abuse, overturning lower courts that sided with the Diocese of Camden to block the probe. Chief Justice Stuart Rabner said suppressing a potential report is premature as grand juries reflect community conscience. In other words, he's saying, let community opinion influence what the courts do. That's what the liberal Supreme Court head in New Jersey said. That's literally the translation. So the whole justice is blind thing in the eyes of a Democrat, no, it's not blind if we don't like it. Then it doesn't have to be blind. The diocese, now cooperative under new leadership, supports transparency, as it should. Survivors advocates hail the decision, ensuring accountability for past abuses. The problem is this then becomes the pile-on effect. People start having fantasies about things that they think may have happened. Not to say that it hasn't happened or didn't happen. And the people who did this horrible act should be punished. But then it becomes a pile-on for money. And the locals who hate religion, look, they salivate. The law firms salivate because they think that this money comes from heaven and it comes from your church donations. By the way, for all those people who say, oh, those pedophile priests, do you know that the percentage of pedophiles among priests is significantly lower than the percentage of pedophiles in the general public? I know it should be zero, but before you start saying, oh, those priests are all a bunch of pedophiles, they're a bunch of child molesters. The average male in society, higher rate of pedophilia and abuse than priests. Again, it should be zero, but before you point the finger, be introspective. 7:18, a new bill unanimously advanced by the Assembly, Science, Innovation, and Technology Committees would ban companies from using AI as licensed mental health professionals. Violators could face fines of up to $20,000, with 1 in 3 Americans living in areas with mental health worker shortages. AI chatbots are a growing low-cost therapy option. Would you like to talk to AI to make yourself feel better? A Stanford study, though, warns they are less effective, than human therapists and may stigmatize certain conditions. Yeah, because they don't have feelings and they can't take into account everything and all your circumstances. The move follows, of course, Governor Murphy's April law criminalizing AI-generated deepfakes. South River High School seniors involved in a vandalism prank. Oh, we just did that story. I'm sorry, folks. I'm just all riled up today. Sorry about that. New Jersey Devils. Here's our friend Pam, our director Pam's favorite story of the day. The New Jersey Devils will shine at the 2026 Winter Olympics in Milan and Cortina with 5 players named to preliminary rosters, tying the Florida Panthers for the NHL's highest representation. Switzerland boasts Devils stars Nico Herscher, Timo Meyer, and Jonas Siegenthaler, all eager to make their Olympic debut. The Czech Republic's Ondřej Palat returns for his second games, while Slovakia's young Simon Nemec, a 2022 bronze medalist, also joins. The tournament, featuring NHL players for the first time since 2014, kicks off February 11th with the gold medal game on February 22nd. Finland, by the way, will defend its 2022 title. 7:19, we have 63 degrees right now. When we come back, New Jersey Globe editor David Wildstein will have the latest on New Jersey's political scene with the Inside Edge. Patchy fog and rain this morning, clouds and showers later, highs around 70, more humid and hotter as the week goes on. And meteorologist Mike Favetta will return with the full Garden State forecast. And we'll take your calls at 888-658-0234. You're watching On New Jersey Mornings. We'll be right back. 7:21. Welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings for your Tuesday. I'm Ken Rosato. It's 7:21, as I mentioned. 63 sticky degrees. Taking your calls at 888-658-0234. Patchy fog, rain this morning, clouds and showers later. Sounds like a delightful day. Highs around 70 and more humid goes on. There you have it. Right to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast. Morning to you, Mike.
Morning, Ken. Very, very foggy across New Jersey. It's that humid feeling that's sticking around for the next several days. But with the dry weather that's forecast by tomorrow, that is rain-free, we'll be able to enjoy the sunshine across much of central and southern New Jersey by this time tomorrow. Right now, however, a very different scene. It is cloudy, it is foggy with low visibility. Some showers in the forecast today, and temperatures hold in the 70s, so a little bit milder than yesterday. Yesterday felt rather cool. I think there will be a change allowing for that southerly breeze to push in some much more mild conditions by the end of the day. So that'll bring the tree and weeds pollens back in play by tomorrow. As for now, the grasses and molds remain a little bit higher thanks to all of the damp weather around. So there's still another day of the gray skies with more wet weather coming at us. You can even see some of these showers and storms off to our west. They all make a run for New Jersey this afternoon, and we tap into some of that steady rain later on tonight. So still sunshine, not an issue today. Not even going to see it. UV of a 2, which is low on the scale. And this is the time of year, with the summer solstice on Thursday, where we would have the UV index of a 9 or a 10 when it's sunny, but have to wait till tomorrow for that. So with a little bit more cloud cover through the rest of the day, we'll stay cloudy throughout this afternoon, but it's the heat. The heat indices will be ridiculously high going into especially Wednesday and Thursday. Look at how today, not so much, maybe a little touch of sun there in southern New Jersey, but it's tomorrow. Take a look at this forecast. Heat index numbers reading 97 over in Trenton, 96 in Camden, even in Toms River, 96 degrees by tomorrow afternoon. And that's the coolest day of the next several days, starting tomorrow with the heat index numbers that are back in the 90s again, maybe near 100 by Thursday afternoon. It's all due to the humidity. So the dew point running very high with the number over 70. That's like Miami humidity. And then it's rainforest humidity by the time we get to Thursday with those numbers in the upper 70s. So really, really humid weather that makes it feel sticky, makes it feel humid, and doesn't exactly make it feel comfortable under that blazing sun. Going into Friday, the remainder of the week stays warm. There'll be some extra clouds around on Friday, but Saturday is like the chef's kiss of the weekend. I mean, we have highs that are in the mid-upper 80s, approaching the low 90s by Friday afternoon, and then Saturday only gets nicer from there, so very pleasant weather on the way for this upcoming weekend. In fact, the hour-by-hour forecast showing mostly sunny skies, with those skies clearing out through the afternoon, and Sunday looking great as well, even Monday, keeping that warm weather around into next week. So this weekend looks very pleasant. Lots of sunshine on Saturday, 86 as the high. Warm again on Sunday, 89. It's going to feel great and look fantastic just in time for the first official weekend in summer, Ken.
All right, we love that official stuff. It's a very good thing, Mike. Let's take a look.
Yes, it is.
It is sticky, by the way. I could feel it even in the house with the AC on. Sticky, sticky.
Uh-huh.
See, look, I'm schwitzy. I'm schwitzy, Mike. Uh, but this is the season. Tis the season, right? Well, not right until Friday, and then tis the season Friday. But we'll deal with schwitz. I'll deal with schwitz over ice any day, my friend. All right, let's
As
check
you
traffic.
should.
Thank you, Michaela. We'll check back. We got some ugliness on the roadways with all the traffic from all the humidity, wetness, I should say. Look at that. That, my friends, is mile marker 112.3 Eastern Spur interchange by interchange 16E south of the plaza. That means that is the New Jersey Turnpike Eastern Spur, which takes you to Route 3 East to the Lincoln Tunnel. That is bumper to bumper. Ugly, ugly, ugly. And I think part of that has to do with the fact that there are many accidents on area roadways today. So we know that the GWB is almost an hour, and I think everybody's heading to the Lincoln as a result. And that's what you have as a result. So that's really, really ugly this morning. Other roadways to tell you about: a disabled vehicle on the Goethals eastbound mid-span in Elizabeth with the right lane blocked. We have a crash on 78 westbound, west of exit 33 in Bernards Township. A one center lane of the three lanes closed. So when the center lane is blocked and you only have a left and a right lane, everybody's going to crawl. That's the worst place to have a breakdown or an accident, is the center lane. So the whole highway is a mess. We have an unanticipated construction delay, Route 18 northbound from Main Street to Tice's Lane in East Brunswick. Two right lanes closed. Down pole on Route 31, both directions, Ewingville Road, Upper Ferry Road, and Ewing Township. All lanes are closed. And let's take a look at the 8095 approach to the GWB, shall we? Still heavy. That's about 50 minutes in, upper level on the right, lower level on the left. And then at the Lincoln, as I mentioned, we got about 45 minutes now. That is bad. I think something's up at the Lincoln. I got to find out. We don't have a report yet, but if you know anybody in the Lincoln, give them a buzz and X them for me, please. I'm kidding when I say X, but you know what I mean. Holland Tunnel is about 20 minutes. That's your best bet right now. It is 7:26. Time for politics from Trenton. Explained like nobody else can do it. Here's New Jersey Globe editor David Wildstein with the Inside Edge.
Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Inside Edge. It's Tuesday, June 17th, and I don't think this is going to come as a huge shock to anybody. New Jersey's the only state that doesn't have a statute determining a method by which general election ties are handled. There's 7 states, including New York, that break ties with a coin flip. There are 3 states, not surprisingly, Nevada is one of them, that use a deck of cards to determine an election winner. South Dakota once used a single hand of poker. Several states use straws to break a tie. Florida allows election officials to pick a game of chance. Once an election was decided when they filled a bag full of numbered ping pong balls, and the candidate who drew the highest number was certified as the winner. There was a city council race in Florida decided by a game of rock, paper, scissors. And when a state legislative race that would determine party control of the Virginia legislature ended in a tie in 2018, officials took a ceramic bowl, put the names of each candidate in it, and drew one. That person won. In Jersey, voters wait for a judge to figure things out. In fictional Pawnee, Indiana, fictional being the key here, the system to break a tie was that in the event of an exact tie, the seat is awarded to the male candidate and the female candidate is put in jail. In the reality of congressional redistricting in New Jersey after the 2020 census, the method used by the tiebreaker, former Supreme Court Justice John Wallace, was almost as dumb. He simply went with the party that lost the previous vote. Here's a real story. On the Thursday before the June 76 Democratic primary in a Bergen-Hudson district, Congressman Henry Helstosky was indicted by a federal grand jury. They charged him with extorting about $8,000 to help people from Chile and Argentina who were in the U.S. illegally through special legislation. He also faced an obstruction charge for lying to a grand jury and conspiring to help a witness lie. So the election gave Helstosky a 106 vote lead over his primary opponent, Assemblyman Byron Baer. Helstosky's margin grew when North Bergen and Union City came up with another 1,600 absentee ballots for him. Baer went to court, but by August 11th, the matter was still unresolved. So both candidates agreed to a do-over election in the third week in September, and Helstosky, helped by Hudson County, beat Baer by 10 points. The turnout in that do-over election was 43% higher than it was in the June primary. But in November, Republicans flipped the seat and Helstosky was gone. The U.S. Supreme Court later ruled that the legislation he sponsored couldn't be used against him. And Helstosky was never tried on the bribery charges. Later, he tried twice to get his congressional seat back. And after that, he became the North Bergen superintendent of schools. That's it for today, everybody. Thanks for listening, and I'll be back tomorrow.
All right. Thank you very much, sir. It is 7:30. A new internal poll for Republican gubernatorial nominee Jack Ciattarelli shows a tight race in New Jersey with Democratic nominee Representative Mikey Sherrill leading, but within the margin of error, 45 to 42%, within that 4% margin of error. So right now it's anybody's race. Ciattarelli, aiming to be the first Republican governor since Chris Christie, is gaining traction among voters seeking change, leading Sherrill 72 to 14% among those who believe the state is on the wrong track. Duh. Is it on the right track with a 20% hike in electric rates after we had another hike in electric rates because of all the greenies in the state? The poll conducted by National Research, a very good firm with ties to Trump and Christie, but their internal polling is what predicted Trump's victory when the Democrats were saying he was going to lose. We surveyed 600 likely voters June 11th and 12th. Sherrill, vying to be the first Democrat to win 3 consecutive terms since the 1960s, faces attacks on her past stock trading, and she has a lot of them that you should look into. That doesn't mean, though, that she is not a wonderful candidate. Mikey Sherrill has a lot to offer as well. A pre-primary Democratic poll had Sherrill ahead 51 to 38%. But now that we're down to brass tacks, as our friend David Wildstein has said, the polls that early out and during the primaries, you can't really count on. You have to look at it now that you have your candidates, and we'll see what happens in the months ahead. 7:32, and we will be back in just a few moments. You're watching ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. It is 63 degrees, and we will see you in just a moment. And welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. It is Tuesday. Wow, that means tomorrow's Threes Day. I'm Ken Rosato. Nice to see you. 7:33 is our time, 63 degrees. And I have a knife upstairs that I'm cutting the humidity with. I have a slice put aside for meteorologist Mike Favetta to tell us all about this very damp, because I don't want to make it sound like I'm using foul language, Mike. Garden safe forecast. Good morning, sir.
It's like you can cut the humidity with a meat slicer, another slice of
nice
humidity
thin, even
on
slices
the way.
like prosciutto.
Nice thin. Got to do it thin. Got to do it very, very thin. You want
Be where
paper
you could
thin.
read a newspaper through it. You know what I'm talking
Yes,
about?
that's right. You can see the light, you see the back of your hand through it. That's the kind of thin slices we like today. But yeah, the air is thick and it's going to stay thick throughout this afternoon. And into tomorrow, it only gets more humid, only gets hotter with the forecast staying downright swampy and steamy into your Wednesday. Thursday, sunshine returns statewide and it's going to be really hot and humid. And even summer returning on Friday, with summer technically beginning at 10:42 p.m. Thursday night. We get our first full day of summer on Friday. It'll look great with all the clear sky. Not so clear right now. It is foggy, it is cloudy, with temperatures in the 70s today, a little bit milder than yesterday, and there's a little bit of a wind component to this, allowing for some warmer weather. Hey, ocean temperatures have warmed up to 68 degrees, so a milder trend there down by the waterfront, back over towards Salem, where you could actually tap into a little more sun today, upwards of 80 degrees. Speaking of, is this where we should be? Yeah, not really. I mean, 70 as the average high for today. It'll be a little bit below average, but 82 is where we should be. We jump way ahead of ourselves going into the end of the week. Might even touch or come close to some records of 98. That's for today. I think by the end of the week, yeah, it'll get warm, maybe feel like triple-digit heat as the sun rises nice and early, sets nice and late, and this is pretty much the longest daylight hours of the year that we'll get all year long. Happens this week. So some light showers occurring across northern New Jersey, clouds elsewhere, and then the little break of some clear sky trying to nudge its way through Cumberland County early this morning. As far as rain chances, they stick around for today. Tomorrow, yes, there's still some rain around, upwards of 70%, but Thursday, maybe just a late afternoon thunderstorm, because Friday and Saturday look dry and it stays dry going into early next week. So this heat is projected to last into pretty much the rest of next week without much of any relief. There's your water temperature of 68 degrees in Cape May, Sandy Hook 64, not too shabby. So even the water is warming. And as far as the futurecast, we have all of this cloud cover due to the stubborn lows that are taking their time moving on by, giving us the rounds of rain, but at least it's a little bit of a warmer wind direction that pushes the heat up going into Thursday and Friday. Once that front slides through, Friday looks gorgeous. I mean, really, really nice way to wrap up the work week. And to have sunshine on a weekend, that'll feel fantastic for a change. Nice and clear, nice and sunny and dry. Check out the 7-day forecast. Highs climbing into the 90s as soon as Thursday, feeling like it's around 100. Friday, I think, is the best day of the bunch. 86 and sunny, hot, hazy, and humid, lasting through Saturday. A few extra clouds, but honestly, you're not even going to notice given how sunny and hot and humid it'll be. Sunday climbs up to 89 degrees, and we're back in the 90s for Monday. So really warm weather on the way. As far as the shore points, slightly cooler, but not by much, because that southwesterly wind really doing a good job of keeping the sea breeze away. So with the upper 80s at the shore on Thursday, Friday is also very sunny, 84, and stays hot and humid even at the shore for Saturday, Sunday, and Monday. To not have much relief at the beach, I think, will be a welcome change, because the beaches kind of have been suffering the last few weekends, given how cloudy and rainy it's been. I think this weekend will be a welcome change to welcome in summer on a really hot and beautiful note. It'll look great, Ken.
Thank you. And by the way, the pool and this townhouse complex I just moved to a few months ago, the pool, for whatever reason, in the brilliance of the people who are, of course, the good folks who run the townhouse condo association, have decided that we don't need the pool. It's a beautiful, almost Olympic-sized pool, crystal pristine, that we pay $1,000 trillion to maintain a day. We don't need it open during the week. 'Cause hell,
Still, man.
oh, we only open it Saturdays and Sundays when screaming children are there. We don't need it during the week. They're not going to open it during the week until it's 272 degrees in July. Until then,
Mm-hmm.
it's going to be closed, because that's what you only have. You only have 3, maybe 3.5 months at most of swimming season in New Jersey a year. So let's have 2.5 of those months. Let's keep the pool that we pay all that money for. Let's keep it closed. Even,
Well,
by the way, even the lounge chairs. Can't even just lay at the lounge chairs. No. Just saying.
if you're new to the
I'm not
program,
bitter.
there's a whole multi-part series that I posted while we were off. That's on Instagram. You can catch all of Ken's pool rants over the last several days.
Oh, all right, Mike. I'll be good. I'll be good. I'll just have my ninth cup of coffee. That'll keep me calm. We'll check back in just a little bit, my friend. Thank you. It is 63 degrees, and Mike nails it because it is humid. And just to show you what all the rain that we're talking about on the roadways, take a look at this ugliness right here. This is the New Jersey Turnpike. And by the way, Pam, since you and I talked last, Pam is our director, we now know, I think, why this is happening. So we now find out there's a disabled vehicle on the New Jersey Turnpike, Hudson County Extension, entering at interchange 14, which is I-78 in Newark, which we showed you before, by the way. So we showed you that like 45 minutes ago. This is by like exit 16. So this is about 2 miles away. That tells you what that disabled vehicle has done. So now you got at least 2 miles of bumper to bumper traffic leading to that point because of the disabled vehicle. That's how fast that can happen. So look at all those cars. They're not even budging. Like I'm looking at the same trucks that were there in the last shot, I think. They're just not moving. I think because they're trying to get emergency vehicles to get that vehicle out. So give yourselves a lot of extra travel time and try to avoid the New Jersey Turnpike Hudson County Extension by interchange from 16 to 14. Just avoid that whole area if you could. We have a disabled vehicle on the Goethals eastbound mid-span in Elizabeth with the right lane blocked. So it was the center lane. Apparently they moved the vehicle to the right lane. That's good because now you could pass at least on the leftmost lane. Crash on I-78 westbound west of exit 33 Liberty Corner Road in Bernards Township. One center lane of 3 lanes closed there. Unanticipated construction, Route 18 northbound, Main Street to Tice's Lane in East Brunswick with 2 lanes closed and a down pole on Route 31, both directions, Ewingville Road, Upper Ferry Road in Ewing Township with all lanes closed. 8095 approach to the GWB still looking horrible with a 50-minute crossing time into Manhattan, at least upper and lower levels, upper on the right, lower on the left. It's still about 30 to 35 actually it's about 40 now, they're telling us, at the Lincoln and 30 at the Holland. 741. President Trump has ordered the evacuation of Tehran last night, and he just arrived back at the White House this morning from the G6 summit. As tens and tens of thousands of cars clogged highways as a result. Take a look at this evacuation. That is when you try to evacuate a major metropolitan area. Thankfully, they're listening. This is the Iranians listening to President Trump, because the people in Iran, the leaders, the supreme leader, the Ayatollah Khamenei, is telling people, suck it up, buttercup, stay there because you should be religious and a martyr and die. That's what the local leaders in Iran are telling those people. Well, the people are not listening to their leaders. 85% of people who live in Tehran, they're very sophisticated, very intelligent people, most of them college graduates. These people don't want this nonsense, these 12th century, 8th century leaders anymore. They want them out. But unfortunately, the 8th century leaders got the guns. But the fact that these people listened to President Trump and got out of Dodge because they know something big is coming to Tehran says, I think, regime change is in the making. And President Trump is now saying, he's quoted this morning as saying that he wants all done. You notice the other day, Israel was ready to take out Khamenei. Trump said, hold off. I think because he has something bigger. I think he's going to use the Moab, the mother of all bombs, right on the territory where Khamenei is. Once he's gone, you cut the head of the snake. Now you can bring in regime change. Let the people of Iran have elected officials. Iran will be a formidable country when they are left to their own future, as opposed to these religious zealot freakazoids. And they are freakazoids. Look, you have other religious states in the Middle East that are not as nuts as these people. These people know only one thing: death and destruction. They hate everybody. And the rest of the Middle East, the other Arab states, have had it. Actually, Iran even arrogantly loves to say, we're not Arabs, we are Caucasians. And they actually are racist against the Arabs around them. So that's why all the other, just because they're all Islamic, don't think they're all on the same page. Don't lump them all together. So the other Arab countries, and this is not an Arab country, it's a Muslim country. The Arab countries around them have had it. They've had it with Iran. So you'll see what happens in the next 24 to 48 hours. Earlier, Israel did expand its attacks on Iran, striking the headquarters of its state television broadcaster while anchors were live on the air, literally smoke coming down and dust. It was unbelievable. Israeli officials warned Iran in advance that attack was coming. But again, the Iranian Khamenei leader said, stay there and take it like a man or a woman. And the warning was ignored, and literally the TV station was blown to smithereens. They had to continue their broadcast from the tower site, which is like a little tiny makeshift room. The Iran-Israel conflict continued through a fourth day, Israel claiming full aerial superiority now. So Israel is basically able to fly right into Iran, and Iran has nothing to defend themselves with. This is going to end faster. This is why the stock market hasn't tanked, folks. It went down a little bit. It didn't tank because it's not going to be World War III. Iran is basically disabled. Russia doesn't give a damn. They don't care. They're not running to their defense. China doesn't give a damn. China, you notice you haven't heard a word from China. This is all going to happen very quickly, not months like the New York Times. The libs in the New York Times have no clue. Israel and the U.S. have such military superiority right now that this is going to be a very quick end for Khamenei. He will be pulled out in about 4,000 pieces within the next 48 hours. But something tells me that Mr. Brave is about 4,000 feet below ground, like a rat in a hole trying to protect his own ass while all his poor people are up on the surface. He couldn't give a shit if they all died. Getting back to local news, at 7:45, the Hackensack Board of Ed has suspended Superintendent Thomas McBride halfway through his 3-year contract. The school board confirmed McBride was suspended but wouldn't comment further. The board votes tomorrow on whether to appoint the assistant superintendent into the role of acting superintendent. McBride's suspension comes a few weeks after the board declined to renew the contracts of several school administrators and employees recommended to continue with the district by McBride. And bad news for the owners of the doomed Jet Set nightclub in the Dominican Republic, where 236 people were buried alive earlier this year, rest their souls, and 180 others were hurt. Dominican government officials say those owners of the club ignored obvious warning signs and building safety laws, leading to that catastrophic collapse. Brother and sister club owners Antonio and Maribel Espaillat were arrested last week. Authorities say, listen to what these people did. This was an old movie theater that they bought. They decided, we don't need this main beam here. This is in the way of the dance floor. This is literally what they did. They took out the main beam. Didn't have a permit for it. Took out the main beam because Maribel thought, this is terrible. This is blocking the view. I'm not trying to mock, but you could envision this is what happened. Take that away. But Maribel, you can't. That holds up the roof. I don't give a crap. Take it away. Stupid. Stupid. Hundreds of people died. Yes, you deserve to be in jail. You deserve to be in jail or worse. New York State Attorney General Letitia James conducting a misconduct probe of an upstate New York police department that may have helped, God forbid, the Trump administration to crack down on illegal immigration. The AG's office demanded that Oswego County Sheriff Don Hilton hand over documents. You will hand over the papers, outlining any cooperation between local law enforcement and federal agencies, including ICE and Homeland Security. It's all due to an executive order signed by then Governor Andrew Cuomo, the criminal who killed thousands of senior citizens in nursing homes. This is back in 2017. And then Governor Kathy Hochul, Miss Bucktooth herself, signed on to continue this. So it's not an actual law that was passed by the House and the Senate in Albany. This is simply an executive order signed by the two governors that says that if you are a local law enforcement agency, you even lift a pinky to do anything to help federal law enforcement, you're breaking the law. So now Letitia Fat Ass James, who's going to be in jail before the end of her term, is trying to go after the people who may have, God forbid, may have helped the federal law enforcement people do federal things. It is 7:47, and let's move on, shall we, to happier things. Listen, I don't know about you, but if you like to travel, we have a person who's going to tell you all about some really cool places. Louisiana, Curacao, Portugal, all points on Eric Hastings' travel agenda. Eric of ericthetravelguy.com, that's Eric with a K, now joins us live. Good morning, Eric with a K. I'm on a 9-cup of coffee rant this morning.
Oh, man. Well, you are not kidding. I never met anybody who needs a vacation more than you, Ken, today. I tell, but you know what? You speak in truth, my friend. This is your show. You get to do whatever you want.
And my 4 viewers appreciate it. Let me tell you, Mom is one of them. All kidding aside, Eric. No. Yes, I'm sorry. Getting better now, getting better. So first off, I want to ask you, before we even get into this, how is your show doing in Florida?
Oh, the Speakeasy Murder and Other Acts of Prohibition, Ken, is outstanding. We are having so much fun down here. One of the things I love about doing this show is that you get to put your phone down. You get to watch a little live theater. You have a little good food. You get to talk with the actors and the characters, and it's fun to watch other people have a good time. I'm surprised, quite frankly, how well it's doing with children. Like the young kids, they're paying attention. They're watching the show. They're not loud. It's a lot of fun. So we're having a blast. Thank you for asking.
That is excellent. And before we even move on, tell people how if they're headed to the Orlando area, they can do the other big amusement parks with the kids, but evening time, take the kids to a really cool dinner
Yeah.
theater experience. How can they find out how to get tickets and do
Sure.
this? It's a murder mystery theater. This is fun with a full dinner.
You're already on my Christmas card list, Ken. I mean, how can you do any better? You're so sweet to mention it. It's speakeasymurder.com. Tickets are on sale. We do 5 performances a week. We're going to grow that to about 8 to 10 performances a week throughout the summer, and we're going to be there for a long time. It really is a lot of fun, and the whole family will love it.
And this is near that. There's another amusement park that just opened down the street, right? Didn't they? Was it like what
Right.
is it? Lego?
That's
That's
Epic Universe just opened down the
Epic
street.
excuse me,
That's
I'm giving another organization a plug. That's very cool. So listen, Orlando used to be known for one place. Now it's known for about 500. So take
it
advantage of
really
this. This sounds
it,
superior.
but you know what? This is a great. I'm glad you mentioned it right off the bat because look, Orlando is one of those towns where you think you know what's going on there, and you know what? Orlando has to deliver, right? Orlando has to have world-class theme parks. They have to continue to outdo themselves. But you, as a consumer, and the rest of us that go and visit these places, we have to understand that it's not the same place you remember. Even the places that you want to go back to because you want to relive. I think of places like Hilton Head. Well, Hilton Head has to deliver in terms of, again, world-class golf, beaches, again, all the things that Hilton Head is known for. Orlando needs to be known for those things too, but it also grows and it changes and it adapts.
Yeah. And it has to,
Yeah.
and that's a good thing. So, all right. So we'll do we got to do a whole show on your dinner theater. 'Cause we should get some video clips and show that.
I
So
will get you
that
some
will be
video.
fun.
I promise I will get you video. I promise. I really do.
Some Speaking of video, I know our Pamela has video for us this morning. You
Oh,
just posted new videos on your YouTube channel. That's ericthetravelguy.com. So Eric with a K, ericthetravelguy.com. You go to YouTube, or you can go to the website too. Oh, these are my pictures from Portugal. They're showing first. That
oh,
was
boy,
my picture,
sure.
Fatima, and this is one of
Yeah,
the monasteries in Sintra. Look at the beach. Look at the beach.
yeah.
That is where the president of Portugal goes windsurfing.
Oh,
This is Sintra. This is the big Hovis castle
beautiful.
in Sintra. These are medieval cities, beautiful place. So on your YouTube channel, you now went to Lafayette, New Orleans, Louisiana, both
Yes.
great cities. A lot of people think New Orleans only and not Lafayette. Pam, if we
No.
have Lafayette, we should bring that up first. Let's talk about Lafayette, Louisiana.
Lafayette, Louisiana, it's interesting when you go to do a New Orleans trip. And a lot of people have done New Orleans, but they don't get out there and they don't see the countryside. They don't see these charming towns. And you really learn the difference between Creole and Cajun. And that was one of the things that we loved the most. We love to learn the history. We learn what is the population and why are they there? How did they get there and why? And you experience that through the history, through the music, of course, through Zydeco, and of course the food.
So let me see if I got it straight. The Cajuns were the Arcadians, the French Canadians, right? That went from France to Canada and then however the hell they got from Canada to New Orleans, I don't know, but
Right.
those are the Arcadians that was abbreviated to Cajuns, and the
Right.
Creole are the descendants of slaves, right? And many of them were. It was like. I know a lot of people had babies with other people. So the Creoles
Sure.
are like a blend of European and African culture and one of the richest, most beautiful food histories on earth. Just
It's funny. Yeah,
amazing.
when you talk to Creole chefs or Cajun chefs, as I have done many times down there, and I know this is a subject that's near and dear to your heart, and they'll say things. I remember one guy said to me, he said, "Well, Eric, I can tell you, um, based on that gumbo recipe, I can tell you what region of the state it's made in, based
Wow.
specifically on the ingredients list. Because if you live in this part
That's
of the state,
cool.
you make gumbo this way, in this part of the state, you make it that way, and it really is fascinating. So again." you talk about like one of one, right? So Lafayette, Louisiana is a place that you will love to go, and you can do the out on the bayou, get out on the airboats, which we did. We had a lot of fun. My daughter was there with me. Delaney was there. We had a blast. But do you know that Avery Island is home to Tabasco sauce? Yeah,
Yes. That's a cool little
yeah.
tour.
It's a cool little tour. It is so much fun. You would think, well, I'm not even a hot sauce guy. Like I could, I don't really care. But I loved it. I loved it because if you love hot sauce, if you love Tabasco sauce, there's only one place in the world it's manufactured, and it's right there in Lafayette. The peppers are grown there. They're harvested there. They're shipped from there all over the world from Lafayette,
And
Louisiana,
think about
Avery
it.
Island.
Think about it. Do you like 20 years ago? Now we have a hot sauce craze. You go to the hot sauce section in the vinegar
Right.
aisle, whatever, of your supermarket, there are 10,000 bottles of hot sauce. There was only one 20 years ago, and it was Tabasco. That was
That's
it.
right.
And it's called Tabasco because of the pepper. The breed of pepper is a Tabasco pepper that they grow. They
Correct.
took it, I think, from Africa, and they grow it
Yep.
on that little island because the humidity and all, it's perfect. And that's all they
Perfect.
plant there. They have millions of those peppers and they make that sauce. That is so cool. Also, one of my favorite places, I know the Dutch Isles off of Venezuela, you have Curacao, Aruba. Of course, people love to go to the DVDV trees in Aruba. Aruba basically is a big beach. But if you want
Right.
more than a big beach, because we did Aruba 2 or 3 times, it was beautiful. Don't get me wrong. It almost never rains there. Right next door, the bigger, more populous island of Curacao is a better travel bargain. It's less expensive, more options for families, and there are more things
Mm-hmm.
to do. So we went there and we had a rare rainy day and we went to the ostrich farm in Curacao. Tell us about all the great options there in Curacao. And they still have great beaches.
People ask me, Ken, you know this, because it happens when we're out and about. Sometimes somebody says, "Oh, Eric, where should I go?" And of course, that's such a difficult question to answer because it's like, well, I don't know. What do you want to do? Like, I wouldn't know where you should go. But I always say, sometimes you just give them an answer, and I say, well, Curacao is one of the places that you probably haven't been. It's part of the ABC Islands. It's in the Southern Caribbean. It's usually outside of the hurricane track there. So sometimes you'll get the tropical storms. They usually don't get they haven't had a direct hit hurricane in Curacao since they started keeping records. So again, that's one of the reasons in that Southern Caribbean. It's on your Southern Caribbean itineraries on cruise ships. Of course, you can fly to the capital. The architecture is Dutch. It's really cool. It's colorful. It's vibrant. The beaches are amazing. And what I was most surprised by, again, the food. It's totally a food town. If you're a food person, go there and you'll be like, oh my gosh, I'm totally surprised at how good the food is down here.
Again, it's a combination of cultures. The word Curacao is Portuguese. And so the
Yep.
Portuguese landed on that island, and then I forget the history of how it became Dutch, but the Dutch won it. They took it over.
Yep.
So, but they kept the name. Curacao means heart in Portuguese. And then, of course, it's only 40 miles off the coast of Venezuela. So you have influence of Spanish culture, Hispanic culture, the islands and the country. You have all the islands around them to the northwest.
Okay.
And then, of course, Portuguese culture and Dutch culture. It's all mixed together. And in that one beautiful island with so much to do, it is beautiful. Whenever my friends say, "Oh, we're going to Aruba," I say, "Great. When you're done with Aruba, go to Curacao. You'll save about 20%. You'll have the beautiful beaches. It's just different."
Well, and the producers, the show, the Beyond Your Backyard is the show we do, and I love doing that show so much. And they're always trying to get me to take my shirt off, which I find frankly offensive on television. It just gets larger and larger. But they said you've got to do this thing, and I to be honest with you, I didn't even prepare because I forgot what it's called. It's in the episode you're watching. It's in there. We did it. This thing where you basically are hanging on to a thing that takes you underwater, and I don't even know what it's not snuba, it's something else. Where it was so much fun, and I'm a little uncomfortable, with most of my clothes off in public in front of a camera crew, but whatever. And it's funny. Curacao just knows how to take all your issues away. They just melt away, and it's you and the water, and it's so stunningly beautiful that you walk away going, why haven't I been here sooner?
Yep, it's true. In fact, I know that thing you're talking about. I actually had a panic attack with that because
Yeah,
I'm a
but
nut. Because they put a dome over your head and shoulders, and then you go under 30, 40 feet underwater.
no,
But my
no,
thing,
no.
oh, is that not the thing?
Wait, no, Ken, it's not that thing. It's another thing. It
Oh,
looks like it looks like somebody who's watching is like, you guys are shouting at the TV right now. They know what we're talking about. We can't name it, but it basically looks like a jet ski that you hang on to with both hands like this, and you can go under and on top of the water. And it literally took me, because the guy, the experts, they're like, Eric, you'll be fine. I'm like, I'm not going to be fine. What are you talking about? They're like, no, just hang on to the thing. You know how to swim. You'll be fine. And sure enough, within 3 minutes, I was loving it, and I wanted to stay all day. Of course, we couldn't. We were there for like 2 hours.
Amazing. And we got about 30 seconds left. I just want to quickly talk about your piece on the Azores, which is actually not a new piece, but fascinating. The Azores, for those that don't know, are the Portuguese islands off of Africa. If you look at a map, Portugal is just north of Africa, and it's a quick flight. If you go to Lisbon, it's like a less 45, 50-minute flight to the Azores. And the difference between the Azores and I forget the other island they own there now, Cape Verde.
Yeah.
Cape Verde is a little more developed for tourism. Beautiful place. But the Azores they have less tourism, and it's gorgeous. So tell us more about the Azores.
I highly recommend it. You would be surprised. You've got nonstop flights out of Boston at 4.5 hours. Think about that. For those of us, you go up to Boston, you spend the night in Boston, have a good time, hop on a plane, you're there in 4.5 hours nonstop, and you fly into the capital. Now, you can do lots of different islands. I think there's, 9 or something. But we stayed in the capital all of that trip, and you do get a sense of a little bit detached from the rest of the world. You get a little sense of that, but plenty of infrastructure, so you don't feel like you're kind of out there in the middle of nowhere. We love taking a tour of the tea factory, and of course, the vista is just nonstop, 24/7. There, it's gorgeous.
It's amazing.
Gorgeous.
And by the way, I think one of the islands is São Tomé, if I'm correct, one of the 9. For whatever reason, this morning, literally in the last 2 hours, President Trump issued an additional, I think, 20 countries around the world are now added to the travel ban list. I believe, and correct me if I'm wrong, that São Tomé might be. It just got done, so that's why you don't have the update yet, I'm sure. But we just got the alert. So check with the Department of State before you try to book anything, so you don't end up booking at an island that you won't be able to go to.
And please make sure you're talking to your travel advisor as well. Seek the aid
worth every
of a
penny.
qualified travel advisor.
Totally. And you get paid. The travel advisors get paid from the other side, so it's not like you're paying more money. Go to a professional. This is what they do.
That's exactly right.
Exactly. Yep. You are my favorite. Eric Hastings of ericthetravelguy.com, Eric with a K. Again, give us the website for your show in Orlando.
The murder mystery is speakeasymurder.com. That's very kind.
Speakeasymurder.com. And I'm sure if you go to ericthetravelguy.com, you can get a link, right?
That's
Put a link there.
Right.
Thank you for joining us, my friend. You know I love you. I'll talk to you next week.
Bye, Ken. Love you.
Take care. Love you back. It is 8:01. We're going to have patchy fog and rain this morning, clouds and showers later, highs about 70, more humid and hotter as the week goes on. We are coming back in 30 seconds. Don't go away. It's 8:03. Good morning. Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. Some breaking news to tell you about. Israel kills another top Iranian military leader. So at this point, Iran is kind of floundering. And give it probably a day or two before President Trump will demand that there would be some kind of regime change. Just want to keep you updated on that situation. And as we get more info on it, we will bring it to you through our broadcast. Tuesday, June 17th. Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato. We will take your calls at 888-658-0234. Patchy fog and rain this morning. Clouds and showers later. Highs about 70. More humid and hotter as the week goes on. Meteorologist Mike Favetta. Check the Schwitzy Garden State forecast.
Yes.
Morning, Mike.
It is Schwitzy. Very good morning to you. Some very thick air around, all due to that humidity and some light showers right now up in northeastern New Jersey. A couple of the light rains that we had pre-dawn are exiting to the east. Well, the air is cool with temperatures holding in the 60s, pretty much where we were yesterday in terms of that level of cool air. We're right at 0 degrees temperature change from 8:04 yesterday as compared to today. Now, with all of the humidity around, dew points are in the 60s, which means it's very humid, the air is saturated, and we stay cloudy for most of the day today. There are those early morning showers zipping on by that we had earlier. That will lead to a pretty foggy morning with 0 visibility right now up through Morristown, 1 mile visibility in Hackensack, 1 mile visibility in Toms River, and LBI is socked in with the fog. So as far as the breezes today, they're very light. They're out of the east. That's helping to enhance that rain that returns later on this afternoon. So we get another round of mist and drizzle through this afternoon with steadier rains on the way for tonight. Already picked up more than a ½ inch in Flemington, approaching 2/10 of an inch across the rest of northern New Jersey just over the last day alone. As far as the remainder of today, we see the clouds stick around. Temperatures hold in the 70s, a few degrees milder than yesterday, but it's another round of rain that comes through this evening that gives us some more wet weather. We finally see the clearing by tomorrow, and this will look great, especially across most of central and southern New Jersey as soon as the noon hour, with temperatures soaring to 90 by tomorrow afternoon and even hitting the mid-90s by mid-afternoon. That could spark a few afternoon storms, especially in northern sections of the state, and another round of thunderstorms working in through central and southern New Jersey by tomorrow evening. So still some wet weather around, but at least we get some sun back and some warmer weather. Thursday looks great. Lots of clear air around. Humid, though, very steamy, with a 97-degree high in Trenton. It'll feel like it's around 100 when you factor in the humidity, and that's in the shade. You're going to be melting when you're in the sun. Friday's weather also very warm, gorgeous, highs up in the upper 80s and low 90s with that high humidity. Just quintessential summer weather as we wrap up the week. That is, by the way, the first full day of summer on Friday, as summer begins Thursday night, technically at 10:42 p.m. The next few days featuring a big warm-up. 80s tomorrow, 90s Thursday, and up around 90 again on Friday. Lots of heat, lots of humidity, but lots of sunshine. So we will get to recharge our batteries and get a nice healthy dose of vitamin D. It's been a while.
That's nice. Recharge our batteries and don't even have to waste electricity doing it. We appreciate you, Mike. Thank you, sir. 63. By the way, the temperature has not budged a tenth of a degree in the last 2 hours. It's still 62.8 to be specific right now with high humidity, as Mike's been saying. We have a lot of traffic to talk about. Take a look at this. This is a mess. This is the eastern, look at that. The eastern spur of the New Jersey Turnpike. This is interchange 16 east south of the plaza. Still a mess because of a disabled vehicle on the Hudson County extension entering interchange 14. So for about 2.5, 3 miles, that's what you have. That is due to a disabled vehicle. Emergency vehicles trying to get that off the roadway now, but give yourselves a good half hour or more extra travel time making your way in that area. We have a disabled vehicle also on the Goethals Bridge eastbound mid-span, and we have a down pole on Route 31, both directions, Ewingville Road, Ewing Township, with all lanes closed. Very heavy crossing into Manhattan this morning. The upper and lower levels of the GWB, that's the upper on the right, lower on the left. Look at that. That's almost an hour now being reported to get into Manhattan from 8095. Look at the truck on the shoulder, and now the car following him. You're all going to get tickets, every one of you. We got your license plates. On the approach via the Lincoln Tunnel, you're talking about 40 minutes, and it's about 30 to 35 at the Holland. 8:07's our time. Is your smartphone running your life, or are you in control? It's a question more of us are asking here in New Jersey, where daily commutes, family logistics, and remote work have made the phone feel more like a lifeline than a tool. But what if disconnecting even just a little could make you more present, more focused, and maybe even, heaven forbid, happier? Imagine. That's the idea behind Unplug, a new book out this month by Richard Simon, who spent a whole year. Imagine this. I'm getting a panic attack thinking about it. Richard spent a whole year living without his smartphone. Richard, is it wrong that I go to bed like this? Is there something wrong with the fact that I sleep on my smartphone and irradiate my brain? Richard joins us now with what he learned, and how anybody from busy parents to baseball players can reset their relationship with their phone. Richard, I need your help. Thank you for joining us. So, what made you decide to turn your smartphone off for an entire year? And by the way, I sent 42,000 texts to you in that time.
Ken, it's great to be on. This journey for this book definitely starts with me. I turned off my phone for an entire year, as you said, and it completely transformed my life. And the reason for it was that I was just experiencing so much stress as a young parent at the time of two kids and having a career for a university and trying to develop more meaningful relationships. It was just providing so much stress. The average American spends more than 5 hours a day on their smartphones. For teenagers, it's more, between 7 and 9 hours a day. And just enough was enough. And so many self-help articles, they say, delete social media, take a digital Sabbath, turn your phone to grayscale, all these different hacks. And for something as addictive as a smartphone, it just didn't go far enough. So that's where I did decide to turn my smartphone off for the year. And it was one of the most transformative periods of my life.
I'm so glad you said this, Richard, because literally, I just got back from Portugal. My husband and I were in Lisbon and Fatima and other beautiful places. And one of the nights we were out to dinner, this beautiful, beautiful restaurant. People forget, I forgot that Portugal controlled Macau and China, so that they have these wonderful Chinese restaurants, phenomenal Chinese food. And we're sitting there, packed restaurant, literally to the person, young or old. This is what everybody was doing. And I thought, how embarrassed, how horrible. You're at dinner. It's probably vacation. You're away with your loved ones and your face is in your phone. Put the damn phone down. So I'm so glad you took the time to do this. You spoke to people from all walks of life, teachers, doctors, even a Major League Baseball player. What surprised you most about how giving up the phone affected all of them?
Yeah, I spoke to dozens of people about how they broke up with their phones, and one of the things I realized was that it doesn't matter if you're an on-call anesthesiologist at one of the top research hospitals in the country, whether you're a school principal, a law partner, a chess grandmaster, a graphic designer, software engineer. It doesn't matter your walk of life. You can make this happen. You can turn your smartphone off. And one of the things that was so eye-opening in terms of all these interviews was that you'd figure that, if you turn off your smartphone, there'd be all of these negatives. We're so scared even about turning our phone off for 2 minutes or for an hour being away from it. I certainly was. But what I found from all these interviews was that, you know, everything's okay. Life moves on. It's okay if your smartphone is off. Major League Baseball player Nick Castellanos is someone who I opened the book with. He's a Philadelphia Philly. He's a right fielder. I interview and profile him to open up the book. He told me he turned his smartphone off for 18 months, and the only thing he really regretted over the 18 months was that he couldn't Uber Eats one night from the hotel. You know what he realized? He said, you know what? This is a great opportunity to embrace hunger. So we get scared about having our phones off, but it's absolutely possible, and the rewards are eye-opening.
There was a New York Times study a couple of years ago that showed that your phone, on a scale, on a ranking of 1 to 15 things it can do, the number 9 thing is that it's used as a phone. That we use it as a camera, we use it as calculator, we use it all these other things, and it's only number 9 on the list of 15 that we actually use a phone as a phone. We call it a phone, but it's a personal computer, obviously. Now, you say phone hacks like grayscale or deleting apps don't actually work long term. Now, why is that, and what's different about that, the full detox approach that you did versus just kind of scaling back?
Yeah, it's something that you just spoke to, which is that there are so many more addictive aspects of the phone than just social media. Even just the core components of the iPhone when it was first released in 2007, the amalgamation of tools. You put together Safari, phone, text, mobile games, exercise, finance, email. You put it all together in one place, and there's many more tools than that, but all in one place, and you put it in your pocket. It is absolutely irresistible. So people will delete Instagram off their phone. They might delete Facebook off their phone. That's incredibly, incredibly noble if that's something that someone wants to do, and I encourage it. But there are so many more addictive aspects of the phone that you won't see your screen time necessarily reduced.
Yeah, I guarantee, because you'll go down the TikTok rabbit hole for 4.5 hours of wasted brain time that you'll never get back. Been done. We've all done it. We've all done it. And then you say, my God, I literally spent 4 hours watching people tap dance and jump on their heads. This is just ridiculous. It's a waste of humanity. Now, you outline 4 breakup styles in the book for New Jersey families juggling kids and commuting, the group texts. What's the most realistic way to start what you did?
Yes. Well, the first step is definitely preparation. You don't want to detox and turn off your phone too quickly. So for the dozens of people I interviewed, there was generally a preparation stage. Get people on board that are in your inner circle, family, friends. And the 4 breakup styles I outlined, I think really the one that will resonate most with viewers is simplifying your phone. So if you have a smartphone, switch your SIM card over to a basic phone. You switch it over to a basic phone, choose the most basic of basic. You can still get basic phones that have apps. Don't get one of those. Get a basic phone that is a phone that you would have 20 years ago that just has calling and texting. And the first week or two, you're going to experience withdrawal. This is a real behavioral addiction, a smartphone. But you'll notice with a basic phone that all of a sudden you're going to regain the most precious thing, which is time. And if the average American spends more than 5 hours a day on a smartphone, and all of a sudden you get 3 to 4 hours a day back with this basic phone, I mean, that is just incredible. So the one that I would mention in terms of breakup styles I think would resonate most is simplifying your phone, moving to a basic phone.
Oh, that's great advice. Where does a website where people can buy your book or find out more? Because this is just absolutely fascinating.
Unplug is available at all major booksellers, Amazon, Barnes& and Noble, Target, Walmart, or your local independent. So yeah, please check it out. I hope it transforms your life too.
And you know what? I am going to check it out. I'm in the news business, but I don't have to be. I always use it as an excuse that I have to be connected 24/7. No, I worked years ago in the news business before the smartphone, and it worked then. So I think we could survive without it. That's a great idea. Again, it's not. And by the way, when I did the Google, I just want to make sure people look for unplug. Not unplugged, past tense. It's unplug as you see on your screen there. The name of the book is Unplug, author Richard Simon. You are awesome. Come back again. This is fascinating. And thank you today for joining us. We appreciate you.
Ken, thanks for having me. I really appreciate it.
You bet, my friend. Good luck with the book. And when we come back, how poetry is helping New Jersey teens find their voice and use it. Patchy fog and rain this morning, clouds and showers later, highs about 70. It'll be more humid and hotter as the week goes on. Meteorologist Mike Favetta returns with your full Garden State forecast. Plus, we'll take your calls. Yes, your calls, but you could use one of the old clunky Ma Bell phones if you want. 888-658-0234. You're watching on New Jersey Mornings. We'll be right back. Oh, welcome back to On New Jersey Mornings. I'm Ken Rosato, 817, taking calls at 888-658-0234. Patchy fog, rain this morning, then clouds and showers later, highs about 70. More humid and hotter as the week goes on. Straight to meteorologist Mike Favetta with the Garden State forecast. Schwitzy, schwitzy, schwitzy. Good morning, Mike.
It is in humid, Ken. Yeah, it's going to be really warm around here. So with that hot weather, we get the sunshine back tomorrow, which will send temperatures from the 70s today under cloudy skies into the 90s by tomorrow afternoon. Very warm stuff on the way. And with a southerly and southwesterly breeze, not even much of a sea breeze down by the beaches. So Point Pleasant, Toms River, you will experience some pretty big heat as well. If you're an allergy sufferer, well, get ready because the weeds pollens will be back as well as grasses as they've been a little elevated due to the rain. The molds are also higher too. Thanks to all of the cloud cover and showers, we're staying socked in with gray skies today. A lot of that wet weather stretches back into the Midwest, so not much sun. We're still at a 2, which is low on the UV scale. We should be at a 9 or a 10, which is where we'll be tomorrow with all that afternoon sunshine. Now, with all of the light rain that's around today, we get another round of steady wet weather this evening, but then we start to clear things out, and there's this southerly wind that'll help lift those clouds up to our north, pushing in some really hot weather. It's all due with that heat index that'll bring it to feel like the 90s this afternoon, or excuse me, the 80s this afternoon in southern New Jersey. It's tomorrow that it will feel like the 90s, even 94 in Mount Holly, 97 in Trenton. This is 3 o'clock tomorrow afternoon. So really hot weather on the way, even 96 over in Toms River. The humidity stays around throughout Wednesday night. Thursday morning, very muggy. Look at this. It feels like 90 degrees at 9 a.m. That is just downright oppressively warm for a morning. And then by the afternoon on Thursday, only gets even hotter. That particular high resolution model only goes out 48 hours. So we'll have the Thursday afternoon forecast for you by tomorrow. But notice that by later on in the day on Tuesday, that's where the humidity stays very, very muggy. Tomorrow, humidity is quite high. Anytime that dew point or the temperature where the air is saturated is in the 70s, that's Florida tropical humidity, and it stays sticky as well for Thursday afternoon, a 75-degree dew point. It's like rainforest humidity coming in by the end of the day on Thursday. 75 in Millville, 75 in Medford. Again, oppressively humid by Thursday afternoon. So we finally see some relief with a little bit of a cool down. I mean, like briefly, just to where we should be by Friday afternoon. And that'll bring our temperatures down into the 60s overnight before we warm back into the 80s for Saturday. So another warm day ahead after some heat and humidity comes back in. I think the weekend looks sunny. It's clear for most of the day on Saturday. Sunday looks gorgeous as well. Nice and clear and sunny to start and staying that way through the afternoon. So all good all around, feeling like summer should, even with this weekend's weather looking bright and beautiful. For the first time in a while, Saturday, 89 and sunny, 93 and sunny. On Sunday, very warm, very pleasant, very sunny, and it'll make many people very happy considering that the sunshine and the heat is coinciding with the weekend. That's a nice change here in New Jersey.
Let's hope we get 12 weeks of that. That would be a nice pattern to have, right? Just
Yeah.
perfect sunshine, niceness. All right, Mike, we appreciate it, my friend. It is now 8:21, 63 degrees. And now we just heard nice from Mike. Now we got ugly again. Let's take a look at the roadways. That is ugly. You're looking at mile marker 106.5 on the New Jersey Turnpike, the eastern spur north of the southern mixing bowl. And in the distance, you could see that bridge. That's the Pulaski Skyway, Route 1 and 9. In the distance, and this is what you got. So you got Newark Airport exit. If you get off to the right where that green sign is, you can get off by exit 14 ABC. They have those options. And that is just bumper to bumper, as you can see right now. So extra travel time needed. And on the left side, those are the people making their way to 1 and 9. And they are also in just a lot of volume with the rain and the wet roadways. Beware of that. Disabled vehicle now on the turnpike outside exit interchange 13A by Newark Airport, which is about a mile and a half from that, what we just saw, with a center lane blocked, and a disabled vehicle on the Turnpike Hudson County extension, which we showed you earlier. That's exit interchange 14 by I-78 in Newark with the right lane blocked. It's just a mess today. We have a down pole on Route 31, both directions, Ewingville Road, Upper Ferry Road, and Ewing Township with all lanes closed. 8095 approach right now to the GWB, upper level on the right, lower on the left. We're talking 50 to 60 minutes into Manhattan. Lincoln Tunnel approach, not that much better, but is a little better. A 35-minute approach at the Lincoln, 25 at the Holland. That's still your best bet. 822, NJ PAC's Dodge Poetry in the Community program is helping teens across the region to find their voice and use it through powerful workshops, mentorship, and now a brand new youth ambassador program. Young artists are learning how to channel their words into real impact. Joining us this morning is Isabel Gonzalez, who is the producer of Poetry and Social Impact at NJ PAC, to talk about the work that they're doing with Newark youth and how poetry is becoming a tool for change. Isabel, thank you for being here. We're going to start with the big picture, which NJ PAC is such a beautiful place. Why is NJ PAC investing in poetry and spoken word as a way to reach all the good teens in Newark?
Yes, well, good morning. And Newark is a city of poets, first and foremost. Our mayor is a poet. His father before him, Amiri Baraka,
Mhm.
was a fantastic poet. And so this program, which is housed at NJPAC and supported by the Geraldine R. Dodge Foundation, we're leading these generative, powerful poetry workshops throughout the year. And we've launched also, as you mentioned, this new ambassador program, which serves teens ages 13 to 18. And this is truly a brave space for these kids to share their words, work with experienced Newark poets. And we've also partnered with Rutgers University Newark MFA program, working with their students there. And we just truly believe that poetry and spoken word and slam can be used for social change, and provide these young artists with agency.
Well, it is so awesome that you're doing this because poetry is the most effective, or one of the most effective ways to channel anger and emotion into brilliance. It's hard to combat when you have the other side trying to make an argument. When you combat uh, shall we say, physicality with intelligence, which is what this
Mhm.
is. It slaps it down and ends it right on the spot. And this is just such a brilliant thing to do, to teach people to channel their energies into brilliance like this. I love it. And now you just used the term brave space when talking about the workshops. What does that look like, and why is it so important for teens to not
Yes.
channel into other
Mhm.
ways or modalities, but rather use the
Mhm.
brave space?
Yeah, well, poetry builds empathy first and foremost. It provides young people to step into other people's shoes. These workshops are brave spaces because we create curriculum which truly allows them to channel their inner emotions and put it on the page and speak it out loud. Put it into a space along with other young people. They're all together in community doing this together. And Newark is a city of the arts, is a city of poets, and really, we're generating a new pipeline of young artists who are changing the world. They're using language. They're using language to liberate. They're using language to reclaim. Some of our curriculum this year has to do with America the Promise and engaging with America the Beautiful, the anthem, which the music was actually created in Newark. So there's so much opportunity here. We feel the city is going through a renaissance. Our mayor is changing the city. It's a model for how arts can be used to truly change the world.
And it's our biggest city in the state of New Jersey. How Newark goes, the whole state goes. So that's a great way to transform it. And you're working with some impressive local partners. You have Mentor Newark to Clinton Hill Community Action. How do the collaborations help to strengthen the impact of the program?
Yes, the partners are crucial. They are already working with young people, so this partnership is truly collaborative, in which we're working with the partner organizations to bring in youth. So, for example, Clinton Hill, we have our coordinator there, Mia X, who is also the city's inaugural poet laureate. So she is not only working with Arts Exchange with NJPAC and working with the youth there and the community there at Clinton Hill. But she's also serving as our city's first poet laureate. So she is actually one of our coaches this year for our youth ambassadors, as well as Paul Conqueso Latour, who's assistant producer at NJPAC. They're both serving as coaches for this program, which basically is a mentorship program. We've selected 4 youth ambassadors from the poetry workshops from last year, and this program is modeled after a low residency MFA program, and also that's coupled with a modeled after a youth poet laureate program. So they're exchanging packets with their coaches and truly being mentored so that when they step into the world, the poetry business, if you will, they will be prepared and ready.
I love the fact that you're treating them as basically the young professionals that they are. They have an honorarium they get, civic
Right.
responsibilities attached to it as well, and it really stands out. Why was that such an important part of the design of that youth
Yes.
ambassadorship?
Oh, I love that question. So we truly believe in supporting artists and providing them with the resources and tools to use poetry as a catalyst for social justice and social change. So in order to pay these poets, it is a matter of supporting them so that way they can understand what it means to be an artist in the world. Poetry should not be, some spaces, yeah, okay, for free, but we want to pay our artists. They're working artists. So providing with the resources and the financial support so that they can do what they got to do is part of our model. We believe in paying all our artists for the work that they do, including the young people.
We have about 30 seconds left. Can you share a story or a moment that really captures how this program is making a difference for a young person?
Yes, we have a young lady named Karina who started out at Clinton Hill Community Action. She was very anxious, quite didn't want to share her poems yet, but she kept coming back, workshop after workshop. And by the end of it, she just shined, and now she's one of our youth ambassadors this year. So we're so grateful that these workshops are changing the game and changing these young people's lives.
Love that. If somebody who's watching, they want to get involved, how can they connect? What's a website?
Yes, njpac.org/Dodge Poetry, DODGEAE Poetry, Dodge Poetry. Thank you.
Love what you're doing. I love what you're doing. Isabel Gonzalez, producer of poetry and social impact at NJPAC. Come back again, please. And thank you so much for joining us this morning.
Thank you.
You bet. Have a great day. It is 8:30. When we come back, New Yorkers like to paint a picture of New Jersey as laden with smokestacks and chemical refineries. Pooh! What if I were to tell you the Garden State ranks among the top 10 most green states in all of the US of A? We'll explain. Now, the phone lines are open. We're going to take your calls at 888-658-0234. Meteorologist Mike Favetta says patchy fog and rain this morning, clouds and showers later, highs about 70. More humid and hotter as the week goes on. The full Garden State forecast in a moment. You're watching ONNJ Mornings, seen daily at ONNJ.com, Roku, Fire TV, news on Samsung TV Plus, Apple TV, YouTube, Facebook, X, and streamed live on Rumble and Twitch at twitch.tv/OnNJ. That's a lot of places. Don't say, I can't find you people. We're coming right back. A very good morning to you. It is Tuesday, June 17th, 2025. We have 63 degrees now at 8:31. I'm Ken Rosato. Welcome back to ONNJ Mornings. Patchy? Sounds British. Patchy fog and rain this morning, clouds and showers later, highs about 70. It'll be more humid and hotter as the week goes on. Meteorologist Mike Favetta, who speaks good old American English, as a detailed Garden State forecast. Mike, I need my 12th cup of coffee. I'll go do that.
It's that time of day, you feel like it's a Friday. It's the foggy weather that just creates brain fog, when you have the lack of sun, you can't think clearly. And that's what's happening. This is my unexpert opinion, but we'll go with that.
You are the scientist on the broadcast, so I give it to you.
Yeah, but I'm not a mentalist, so we'll just stick to the physical facts, if you will. And the good part about tomorrow's forecast is just how sunny it will be across most of central and southern New Jersey. Still have some clouds to contend with in the northern part of the state, but it's the heat and the humidity that will make it feel very steamy by the afternoon, with highs in the 90s, feeling like the upper 90s, and that hot and humid weather sticks around as well through Thursday. It'll feel like summer on Friday, the first full day of summer as summer arrives Thursday evening. Here are the clouds and the fog and the warm temperatures down by the shore today, with temperatures in the upper 70s in Avalon, even 78 over in Hamilton, 80 in Salem. How do we get so warm in southern New Jersey? Well, there's actually a little bit of a clearing that'll take place there, only for the extreme southern section of the state. Everybody else in north of the Atlantic City Expressway, for instance, stays cloudy today. So we will fail to reach our average high, which is 82 degrees. It's the longer daylight hours, however, that'll look nice. It stays brighter for later. Just don't get that clear sky until tomorrow. So with all of the light showers around throughout this afternoon, we get another round of wet weather again this evening, and that keeps the rain chances rather high, even for tomorrow, with some thunderstorms on tap. We'll show you that coming up with the Futurecast. Even Thursday and Friday sees a dramatic drop in rain chances down to 0, and then Saturday and Sunday keeps it low as well. Water temperatures warming into the 60s if you're a boater. Here are your high tides happening later on this afternoon. And with overall a very cloudy picture coming in through the next several days, we don't really clear things out until tomorrow afternoon in southern New Jersey, but the real clearing happens on Thursday, and especially on Friday, with beautiful weather taking over by Friday thanks to the cold front moving on through. It sweeps by and clears out some of the humidity, but leaves just enough around on Friday afternoon to still make it feel like summer. So it'll look great even for Saturday. In fact, that 7-day forecast has lots of heat and humidity for tomorrow. Temperatures well above average going into Thursday. Friday, 87, not a cloud. It'll look beautiful. Saturday, a few clouds, but 89. Nobody's complaining about that. Back in the 90s on Sunday and Monday. And next week, we will likely see triple-digit heat across most of northern New Jersey going into the middle of next week. That is information hot off the presses. Hot off the presses, dad joke. It's going to stay rather cloudy as well until we get into tomorrow throughout Wednesday and Thursday. I think Friday brings back the sun as well in southern New Jersey, but a southwesterly wind really prevents a sea breeze from occurring, so that warm weather will get you down at the coast throughout Sunday and Monday. So hot weather all around, Ken, especially going into next week with this extended heat lasting into next week as well.
All right, sir. Thank you. I love the dad jokes. Dad jokes, keep them coming anytime. Appreciate you, sir.
I'm punny.
It's quite punny. 8:35 right now, Mike. Thank you. It's 63 degrees, and we do have a lot of traffic to talk about, or else we'll do more dad jokes. We have a still ongoing problem on mile marker 106.5, the eastern spur of the New Jersey Turnpike. That's by the eastern, as I mentioned, the eastern spur north of the southern mixing bowl. So it's moving a little bit now. Before it was not moving at all. So that's the good news. The bad news is the damage is done already. So you're talking about some major delays. Straight ahead, if you look in the distance, that's the Pulaski Skyway. And the people on the right side are trying to get off at 1 and 9 of Pulaski Skyway. The people on the left side headed to Newark Airport. So this is the issue that we're having right now. If you're headed in either of those directions, give yourselves extra travel time. We have a crash on Route 29 northbound north of 295 as you make your way toward Philadelphia, Hamilton Township. The left shoulder is closed. And a down pole on Route 31, both directions, Ewingville Road and Upper Ferry Road in Ewing Township. All lanes are closed there. We have a 8095 approach to the GWB. That is an absolute standstill mess. The upper roadway on the right, lower on the left. Either way, you might as well just bring a picnic cloth and set it out there and have breakfast or something because you're not moving. Look at that. That's a mess. 50 to 60 minutes into Manhattan right now from there. 35 to 40 at the Lincoln, 30 at the Holland. 8:36 is our time. A new national report from Smile Hub, just released this week, ranks all 50 states on everything from green transportation, which that was not, to energy efficiency and landfill waste. The good news, New Jersey has actually broken the top 10. Joining us now is Luke Powers, business manager at Smile Hub, to talk about where the Garden State is leading the charge on environmental protection and where we still have work to do. Luke, thanks for joining us. Good morning to you.
Thank you for having me, Ken, and good morning to you as well.
Thank you. And let's start with the big picture. Where does New Jersey land in this national ranking? And what was it that helped us crack that top 10 list? Because people, if you watch the opening to The Sopranos, all you see is you coming through the Lincoln Tunnel, smokestacks spewing smoke and pollution everywhere. And I think that's a lot of the image that people around the country have of New Jersey as being just a chemical dump for New York City. And we have the title the Garden State for a reason.
Of course. And, the Garden State did rank very well this year, ranking eighth out of all 50 states for the best states for environmental protection. And I'm going to give you a brief run through here. We had three categories: environmental protection, energy consumption and waste disposal, and emission and pollution contributions. And across that, New Jersey ranked ninth, 11th, and 6th. So performing very well across the board. And we'll start with some strengths here. New Jersey actually ranked first for having green infrastructure policies for stormwater management, and seventh for the share of state land for parks and wildlife.
And we do have, an enormous state. I think people only think, if you're in New York City, you think of Newark, which is a great city. Don't get me wrong, but it's an urban center. It's a heavy, densely populated center. You get 20, 30 minutes out of Newark. New Jersey's beautiful. We have beautiful green open spaces. It is one of the most beautiful places to drive through, and farms, and really, and we're very blessed to have that. And again, the reason why we're called the Garden State, right, is because we have stuff like that. Now, the standout stat you just mentioned, New Jersey ranks fourth in the country for green transportation. So what does that include? So what is
Correct.
among the green transportation? Because we just showed all that traffic a minute ago.
So when you look at green transportation, what that includes are people who are carpooling, taking the bus, uh, using vehicles that or methods of transportation that are more eco-friendly, and not like every person or family just using one car that's just gas guzzling and emitting fumes across the state. So New Jersey does have the fourth highest share of people using green transportation. So that is something to be commended.
And I know, I'm sure they have it in other states too, but I noticed taking an Uber on Sunday from the airport, Uber and Lyft give you the option of choosing green vehicles. So the electric vehicles, et cetera. And the vehicle that I got coming from the airport was a Prius. And I asked the driver, I said, how much gas do you put in? It was a hybrid. And I asked him, how much gas do you have to put in a week? And he drives all day long. He said $10. $10 of gas a week. Otherwise, it's all electric. And I asked him, do you have to plug it in? He says, no, no, no. It charges. I didn't realize, I'm dumb, didn't realize that the hybrid that it is recharges based on I guess, the regeneration of the brakes and everything else. So that to me was just unbelievable how much less pollution a vehicle like that is emitting. Yeah, I had no problem getting home. So it's more people did that, right? I mean, I do very little driving. I try to take mass transit wherever I can. And that is just a great way to help reduce all the emissions.
Absolutely. I mean, having things like green vehicles, using things like the public transport, mass transport systems. I know I'm down in Miami, and we have a light rail system that I will use to get around rather than driving myself, doing what I can to take advantage of that, and not not put more waste out into the environment.
There you go. I live, by the way, the other half of my life is in Fort Lauderdale. I used to be an anchor at Channel 4 there in Miami for years. So I know Miami well. I know exactly where you're talking about. You
Awesome.
go down by Brickell, you got the light rail all over the place, and it's good that because a lot of the people who
Exactly.
move to Brickell, right? You move to Brickell, a lot of them are people who are young executives from New York. They move down there, and it's nice that they offer that. But I just wish they could just spend money on the infrastructure to expand it because it's a great,
Right.
clean, modern, terrific transportation system. It's getting there. I love, what's the name of the new train that they have now? The fast train that takes you up to
Oh,
Orlando?
the bright line. The bright line.
Brilliant. Brilliant. It's so good. They want to connect the whole state, all the big cities in the state with that. And I mean, Florida, they make fun of Florida for a lot of things. When it comes to future planning, they really do have a system and a method. And I'm happy to see that as a part-time Florida resident. Now, New Jersey, back to the Garden State, we also rank
Yes,
seventh
sir.
for land designated for parks and wildlife. Talk about how that kind of investment affects both ecosystems and communities.
So to me, when I look at that, when I look at the share of state land designated for parks and wildlife, well, when you look at New Jersey specifically, over 13% of state land is set aside for this. So that's protecting greenery. Think forests, think rivers, and it's also providing, which one provides an oxygen sink for, or a carbon dioxide sink, whatever it is, refreshing the air a bit, as well as providing land where more native animals and more wildlife can thrive. And not only does it serve to increase the beauty of a state, such as New Jersey being the Garden State, but also to protect what we have and continue providing for us in the future.
Yeah, I mean, we have hundreds of thousands of acres of beautiful pine barrens that are fortunately protected. Unfortunately, we do get, just like Florida gets, when you get to the Everglades in January, February, sometimes it gets dry and you get some fires, wildfires. We get them here in the pine barrens as well. But it's part of nature, right? That's part of the renewal of nature, and we have such wonderful wild flora and fauna there. Again, very blessed to have it here. Now, with all the goodness that we had in this study, New Jersey is just 28th for environmental protection charities per capita. What is that about, and why is that number lower? What could we do to help boost that?
So when we do these reports, we do take data from the IRS and have our own system based on these codes to sort the charities. So for the number of charities per capita, environmental protection charities, we're looking at all the charities within New Jersey that are based there that support environmental causes, and the way that this could be improved. Although I would say that is a moderate ranking, but just people can look around more. They can go to smilehub.org and see what environmental protection charities are near them in New Jersey, as well as looking around locally. And if there's not something that they want to support, let's say the Pine Barrens up there in New Jersey, they can always look into starting a charity themselves or starting volunteer programs to help with this conservation and protection.
You know what I love to
For the
talk about
environment.
too with people is you don't have to be a hardcore environmentalist, I put that in air quotes, to still help the environment. Little things. If you're addicted to Amazon, like unfortunately I am, if you're addicted to Amazon, don't have 7 deliveries a day to your house. Oh, I forgot the sweetener, one more delivery. That is a waste. You can group your deliveries into like once a week or twice a week if you don't need everything that minute. And they only come and drive one. I mean, these are little things. I know these are very first world things, but if everybody does stuff like that so that you reduce that waste of fuel and travel and congestion on the highways, et cetera, you can really help. You can really help. Plus, you don't have the waste of all the boxes and little things like that. So there's an option on Amazon to have your deliveries grouped into one, and just choose that. And they'll come one time in a week or 2 times in a week, put it all into one container. Look at the savings in terms of fuel, in terms of wasted paper and stuff. You save so much doing that. And then even when you're going to the store, ask your neighbor, what do you need anything? I'm going down to the store. Make it a once a week trip instead of a 5 time a week trip. And it makes such a difference. Little things. By the way, just out of curiosity, how did New Jersey stack up in the Northeast against our surrounding states?
So they ranked ahead of most of the Northeast states except for New York, Vermont, and Massachusetts, which were third, fourth, and seventh, respectively, but outperforming all the others in the area. I mean, I guess if you count Maryland, that puts a fourth one ahead of them. But performing well, performing better than a large part of the Northeast, like Maine, Connecticut, Rhode Island, New Hampshire. So that's
That's
how
not
New
so bad.
Jersey stacks up to the others in the area.
I think, in fairness, a lot of it is people don't realize, if you're not from the Northeast, you don't realize how much more upstate land New York has than New Jersey. New Jersey is a physically tiny place. Uh, Whereas New York State, you get out of the lower Hudson Valley, it is open green. So that's how, I mean, that helps them tick up the ladder a little bit versus us because they have a lot more wide open wild forest space, et cetera. And New Hampshire is just such a pretty place to visit. So much beautiful green mountains there. It's nice. Look, we have the congestion of the population here in the Northeast, but we do have a lot of beautiful places. But it's up to us to keep it natural and to keep it healthy. And I'm so glad that we do. Look, there's a yin and yang. Some people argue environmental goes too far. Some people, and clearly the other side goes way too far. We tend to destroy selfishly. So it's nice to see a yin and a yang to keep our environment as clean as we can. We have a long way to go, but thank God that we have good environmental folks doing it and keeping an eye on it. Where can people go, by the way, to see the full rankings and learn more about their state's environmental profile? What's a website?
So, if they want to learn more about where their state ranked in this report, as well as all the other reports we put out, they can go to smilehub.org/blog, and you can find this report and all the others right there.
It's good to have you on, Luke Powers, business manager at Smile Hub. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. Come back again.
Thank you so much for having me. And absolutely,
And go
I look forward
UM.
to
My
it.
husband's a UM grad. So go Florida. All right. Big Florida fan.
Yes,
So we
sir.
love to have Florida folks on whenever possible. So definitely come back, Luke. Have a great day, my friend.
Absolutely. You too.
All right, pal. Thank you. 8:49 right now. I see Mike is ready. Let's forego the break, Pam, if we can. I don't want to keep Mr. Michele waiting any longer. It's because of my lengthy mouth. Patchy fog and rain this morning, then clouds and showers later. Highs about 70, more humid and hotter as the week goes on. Here is meteorologist Meteorologico Michele Favetta with the
That's
full
right,
Garden
il
State
meteo fa
forecast.
bello oggi, il meteo fa bellissimo. Infatti c'è un po' di nuvole e sole. We'll do the rest in English. How about that? Our forecast is looking really nice, Ken. Really pretty going into the rest of this week. Hot. We're talking like, soleggiato stufato. I mean, really intense heat that comes in with the humidity as well, as highs will climb well into the 90s. Today, we get into the 70s, so not terribly warm, but still the humidity makes it feel like it's adding a few degrees, even through Wayne, Hackensack, and Jersey City. Highs for you climb into the low 70s with another round of rain. Check out the temperature outlook through the first week in July. That dark shade of red shows just how above average we'll be, and this heat, stifling heat that is, will make it feel very warm. Ooh, we added a new shade here. So this is from the Climate Prediction Center. See how it goes red and then like really red by the end of the month? Yeah, some really warm weather on the way, especially with the dry less precipitation. Doesn't mean it's going to be dry in terms of air humidity. There'll be plenty of humid weather around, but not anticipating higher than average precipitation. That's what that means. Our forecast for the next several days shows all the rain getting itself out of the way by tomorrow morning, and then plenty of sun and heat too. 91 on Thursday, 87 on Friday, and back in the 90s for early next week, making a run for 100 by Monday. That's an actual air temperature. You factor in the humidity, it feels much hotter. Even for the shore points, that southerly and southwesterly breeze doing a number on temperatures, keeping the sea breeze at bay and making it feel quite hot. Muy caliente, very hot going into Sunday and Monday with those temperatures that will feel well above average, Ken.
All right. Yes, indeed. I see that. Let's see if maybe they'll open the pool at my complex sometime in the next 8 months. I think they'll open the pool just in time for Christmas, which would be that's when people want to go in cold water. Is like Christmas time in New Jersey. I have no personal stake in this
The
at all.
new side of the polar bear plunge. Ken's house.
There you go. There you go. Ken's pool. All right. Mike, thank you so much, sir. We will see you bright and early tomorrow morning. Appreciate it. 63 degrees now, 8:52. And in terms of traffic, we have a crash on Route 29 northbound north of 295 in Hamilton Township with the left shoulder closed. Let's take a look at that New Jersey Turnpike mess that we have still. It's mile marker 106.5, the spur north of the Southern Mixing Bowl. So these folks are going either to Newark Airport one side. So the people on the right side there's the I-78 exit to go to Newark Airport by exit. I think it's 14B if I'm correct. And the people on the left side can get off at 1 and 9. They do an overpass flyover to 1 and 9. And both are moving now better than they were, but it's still heavy. You got a lot of volume today to look out for. We also have a down pole on New Jersey's Route 31 in both directions. This is by Ewingville Road, Upper Ferry Road in Ewing Township, with all lanes have been closed all morning long. That's been a mess. GWB, we have delays on the lower level eastbound. All lanes are now open, but moving very, very slowly. Let's look at that 80-95 approach. So the lower level on the left, upper level on the right. It's just really heavy. We're talking, they're saying it's now moving at 45 minutes across. I think it's slower than that. That's really, really dense at this hour, although it is better again than it was half an hour ago. Things maybe will lighten up just as the show ends today. We have about a 30-minute cross time at the Lincoln, 20 minutes at the Holland. That's your best bet right now. 8:53, a new internal poll for Republican gubernatorial nominee Jack Ciattarelli is showing the race is tightening in New Jersey, with Democratic nominee Congresswoman Mikey Sherrill leading 45 to 42%. That is well within the 4% margin of error, which is in a state that is predominantly Democrat. Ciattarelli, aiming to be the first Republican governor since Chris Christie, is gaining traction among voters seeking change, leading Mikey Sherrill 72 to 14% among those who believe the state is on the wrong track. The poll was conducted by National Research. That's a firm with ties to Trump and Christie, but it's very accurate. It properly predicted Trump's victories both times. Surveyed 600 likely voters June 11th and 12th. Sherrill, vying to be the first Democrat to win 3 consecutive terms since the 1960s, faces attacks on her past stock trading. A pre-primary Democratic poll had Sherrill ahead, 51 to 38%. That was, again, before the primaries. So now that the primaries are over and people are kind of figuring out who their candidate is, it is a horse race right now. Neck and neck. It's anybody's race, but the momentum seems to be going to Jack Ciattarelli. So we'll see what happens. 8:54, President Trump ordered the evacuation of Tehran last night. Tens of thousands of cars. Look at that. Those are the highways leading out of Tehran, which is a major metropolitan area, like 1 million people. The esteemed religious leaders, the Ayatollah Khamenei, told people, suck it up, buttercup, just stay there and die. Go get your virgins. If the Americans and the Israelis launch nukes at us, just stay there and die. Well, the people there are not that stupid. They said, okay, you go get your virgins, Khamenei, you moron who lives 4 miles underground to protect his ass. He wants everybody on the surface to get killed. Nice the way that works, right? It's good to be a socialist, and they are socialists, the religious socialists. Good to be a socialist if you're the socialist. Anyone else could go die. That's their attitude. So the people of Tehran did not listen to Khamenei, and they decided to do that, get out of Dodge, because in the next 24 to 48 hours, we'll see what happens. We could very well be invading or bombing Tehran. No confirmation on that, but that's what it's looking like. At least the threat is there from the president. Meanwhile, earlier, Israel expanded its attacks on Iran, striking the headquarters of its state TV broadcaster while anchors were live on the air. Israeli officials had warned Iran the attack was coming, get out of the building, but the esteemed leader said, no, stay on the air right in that building. The Iran-Israel conflict continued through a 4th day yesterday. Israel is claiming full aerial superiority. They are now basically able to fly right over Tehran, and there's nothing coming at them. So Tehran has very few missiles, anti-missile missiles left. Their air force is basically bombed to smithereens. So right now, it looks like if you're going to invade, this is the time to do it. And Trump is suggesting he wants to see total regime change. And I think this is going to happen before the end of the week. So we'll see what happens. As of right now, Israeli strikes have killed at least 224 people in Iran, injured more than 1,400. In Israel, the Iranian response, 24 people have died in Israel and roughly 600 have been hurt. Bad news for the owners of the doomed Jet Set nightclub in the Dominican Republic, where 236 people were buried alive earlier this year and 180 others were hurt. Government officials say those owners ignored obvious warning signs and building safety laws, leading to the catastrophic collapse. Brother and sister nightclub owners Antonio and Maribel Espaillat were arrested last week. Authorities say they overloaded the building's roof, made structural changes without any permits, and refused to call off the ill-fated April 8th bash despite obvious signs of danger hours earlier. People were saying that the ceiling looked like it was shaking. There was dust and debris coming down from the ceiling. Nope, keep the show going. Bring in hundreds of people. Who cares if they die? Now they're in jail. Unfortunately, hundreds of people are dead, including some very famous people, by the way. 8:57, New York State Attorney General Letitia James, the fat ass, as I like to call her, is conducting a misconduct probe of an upstate New York police department that may have helped, God forbid, the Trump administration crack down on illegal immigration. The AG's office demanded that Oswego County Sheriff Don Hilton hand over any documents outlining any cooperation between local law enforcement and federal agencies. Let me just point something out. When you are sworn in as a cop, yeah, I'm talking to you, Miss Letitia, you take an oath to uphold the Constitution of the United States. Part of that is to protect domestic and foreign enemies, to protect us against them. So people coming in by the tens of millions, as declared by the president, are foreign enemies. So if somebody had the balls to take this to the Supreme Court, I'm sure that these state laws would be shot down because it prevents police from following the oath that they took to uphold the Constitution. It is 63 degrees, 8:58. Mike's saying we're going to have rain and fog this morning, clouds and showers later, highs about 70, more humid and hotter as the week goes on. That's ONNJ Mornings for your Tuesday. I'm Ken Rosato. Have a wonderful day.